This one. Yeah, this one. Hello! And welcome! This is Brandy Smith-Lyden, the Forbidden Library, and today, I do hope we're going to finish Higurashi today. Higurashi Chapter 2. I want this polished off by the end of the day. We hope and we pray we can get that today. Hello, Messiah's Phantom! Arg, matey, beware the dreaded sea beast, Brynid Rose Smith, who stalks the coastal Yorkshire and steals tea and biscuits from unsuspecting landlubbers. Correct. You should protect your tea and biscuits from me, because I will take them if they are unguarded. I'll sneak into your house at night and steal all your tea. Yay, back to 3 hours of lore dump and Mion's fingernails. And why wood is brown. Yeah, I'm hoping this speech doesn't go on for much longer. We came in expecting her to confess to murder, but now she's like, oh, well, now I'm going to be all professional. And now I'm going to tell you about the history of this town and try justify my stuff. I got your tea and chimkin sandwich at the ready. Oh, heck yeah, he's got lunch today. Good. Glad you're eating. Glad you're staying healthy. Let's go read some game. Go. I have a feeling I saw something like that on a documentary sometime. I can't go back and tell you what they said, but we were getting a very boring history after a very tense conversation, and I hate it. That makes me sick. And they still hate Hinamizawa, huh? You said it. Mion agreed with me, giving a faint and sad smile. It wasn't much in the way of communication, but for some reason, I was happy to have it right now. The unit Sohei was in did way kinder research than that. Oh yeah, we talked about the canned flesh incident. In that Hinamizawa technically profited off selling cans of human flesh. Which was a hell of a thing to find out. They were researching concrete methods for reducing the difficulty of delivering food on the battlefield. The military's designs at the start of the war completely fell apart, and a chronic food shortage broke out all over the battlefront. The food shortage led to malnutrition, and as their natural resistances lowered, the soldiers fell to disease one after another. Spirit and morale lowered. They wouldn't be able to maintain their forces at this rate. That TLDR that some of Mion's ancestors went a bit cuckoo in the head. Yes, definitely. Apparently, that's where the research started. At first, it was to find methods of delivering food to battlefields. Something, they outcasted us because we acted like jerks to the lower town for years. Who could have seen this coming? Correct. It was very broad and included things from violent methods like stealing it from citizens to survival methods like how to cook unfamiliar insects and plant life. As they were working out details, they kept straying off course and going out of control, until finally they knocked down a door called Taboo. What do you think the easiest source of protein on the battlefield is? Other people! Renner and I knew the answer without being told, so we didn't answer. Who knew acting like pricks had consequences? Oh my god! If it isn't the consequences of my own actions. That's right. They were researching ways to handle using humans as food. Fighting onwards, sometimes eating the flesh of enemies and sometimes that of allies, became the ultimate service paid to their country. They were deathly serious about this doctrine. It really is a riot. My grandfather was despised as someone who ate human flesh, and yet They had gone and above and beyond that. Apparently he always thought about it too. Even if he was a vulgar, man-eating demon, there were far more ugly demons than he. So no matter how much he was scorned, he would put up with it. At last, they had a handful of test prototypes. When the soldiers learned it was human flesh, however, the scientists couldn't make anyone eat it. So it was apparently sent to the front lines. The cans were labelled meat substitutes, and so that they wouldn't accidentally eat it themselves, they stamped the bottoms with a circle. The starved soldiers on the front lines apparently loved all the prototypes they were sent. Among them, those who cooked it in soy sauce, like it was suyaki, loved it the most. Come on, Mi-chan. Come on, Mi-chan, stop! I'm getting sick to my stomach. Retta really was pale-faced. She looked like she was having difficulty continuing to sit on her knees. Mion looked like she had more to say, but she sighed lightly and stopped there. Then, those canned goods your grandpa brought back. I don't know if it's true. Sohei denied it was human flesh up until the day he died. However, those who begrudged Hinamizawa's sudden revival called him a savage for making a fortune from selling human flesh, and the villagers began to be scorned again. They returned to a time where children would be jeered at and have rocks thrown at them. The stifling silence came back. What a seriously hopeless and sad story it was. They discriminated and were discriminated against, discriminated and was discriminated against. Why must they attach worth and rank to it? Why can't they live without looking down on people? Why can't everyone enjoy life together? I didn't know. My grandmother, the family head, once told the children of the village this: if they throw a stone at one of you, then 2 of you must throw stones back. The children asked her, what if they throw stones at 2 of us? Of course, the answer was simple. If they throw stones at 2 of you, throw them back with 4. You probably think of better ways of eating people. I don't know. Move more of your country into farming. More airdrops or stealing from the enemy. Not just, well, Jim's dead, I call the off. Probably, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Hello, Jabba, welcome. If they chase 8 of you with sticks, drive them off with 16. If they slander 30 of you, yell back with 60. Finally, the children asked, what if we're attacked by 1,000 people? Even that answer was simple. If 1,000 people attack you, then everyone in Hinamizawa will stand up against them. It was a manifesto to spur the people into action. My grandmother rose up not only as the leader of the Sonosaki house, but as the mother of Hinamizawa. Hello, Overseer, welcome! That was halfway through 1955. Something is wrong with my tea and I don't like it. I don't know if my milk is off or something, but the tea tastes wrong! And I'm sad about it. It was a time when riots over the treaty with the US were rampant. A time of battle and action. The people of Hinamizawa joined together and fought, treating unfair discrimination towards one as a crime against them all. It didn't matter whether that one was a child or an adult. If they heard that a child had been told off, then everyone would crowd the house of the perpetrator, acting as a whole. If they heard an adult had been treated unfairly, men and women, young and old, would all band together and stand up against it. If you meddled with people from Hinamizawa, you would be in trouble. Probably figured that if they could make others think that, they'd win. Kei-chan, do you remember how many people came to help you when you got involved with those delinquents in town? Yes, I remember that. I recalled how much of an impression it left on me, that the people of Hinamizawa boldly came to my rescue, yet the people of Okinomiya averted their eyes so they wouldn't get involved. Yeah, mob mentality! That's the way to beat it! My grandmother fought, and my parents carried on the fight. At last, peace returned to Hinamizawa. Of course, that peace has been placed on a razor's edge. When you consider the previous 100 years of history, the tranquility now can only be called a chance interval, standing on uneven scales. Why? Could I really have an opinion on such a long and difficult history when I hadn't moved here more than a year ago? Yet I said it anyway. Why can't everyone just live in peace? What happened to those old stories of Onyashiro-sama that I heard from Takano-san? Man and demon joined hands and lived together in harmony. Didn't Onyashiro-sama remain in this world to watch over that? That's a fairy tale. I mean, that even if those people and the demons were real, the Onyashiro-sama mediated between them wasn't. Is that why Onyashiro's curse happened? A cool gust of wind blows in from inside, fluttering Mion's long, beautifully clean hair. Mion kept her refreshing smile without answering, and didn't even change her expression. But even that became a silent answer. So that Hinamizawa village might once more be like Onagafuchi village, so that we may again be a sacred existence worthy of worship. That was the earnest wish of our ancestors in Onagafuchi, and the mission of those who inherit the demon in the Sonozaki main family. Those who inherit the demon? The police on the other side of the radio got some pretty good history lessons. Hope it holds up in court, though. You see, sir, for generations, the Sonozaki family has had a custom of including the character for demon in the leader's name. As you write out my name on your hand, it should appear plain as day. I trace out the word Mion on the palm of my hand. Oh, she's right. The character for demon is in there. Not only my name either. The demon is engraved on my body as well. When she said that, she quietly rose and began to lay a hand on her clothing. It's okay, Mi-chan. You don't need to show us, okay? Thank you. With just that exchange, I guessed what she meant. Most likely, somewhere on her body, there was a permanent seal, such as a tattoo or marking, that proved that she inherited the demon. Mion didn't sit back down. She smoothly opened the paper door onto the porch. A refreshing breeze began to cleanse the damp air filling the room. Also remember the fact that Mion Anano has been actively murdering your friends, family, and you, if you ever step on the wrong rock. Oh, and burning people alive for fun. Yes! Although it's very interesting that we never got to see the actual mark of the demon, isn't it? Because, is this Mion? Or is this Shion? Mion quietly gazed out the window, quite a while. Her shoulders was something I could never imagine the normal Mion carrying. It was heavy, truly heavy. History of Hinamizawa, no. Of Onagafuchi weighing down on them. What kind of words could I possibly say to a Mion like that? Rena wasn't saying anything to her either. Only the voices of the cicadas drowned out the silence. At last, after a long period of nothing, Mion murmured, "The serial incidents happening over the past 5 years. I was directly related to some of them, and indirectly to others. Some were not the Sonozaki family, but were rather related to others, the Kimiyoshi and the Furde family. I think I was at the center of all of them. She said without turning around, with her back to us. This town really do keep sounding worse and worse the more I hear it. I know, poor Keiji. His dad's just like, I'ma buy this house in this god-awful village in the middle of nowhere. I'm sure nothing will go wrong! At some point, her tone of voice had gone back to the Mion we knew. I have faith in what I've done, and I don't feel any guilt. If I did, perhaps that would be that. I will have to leave the stage before the heir is decided. If I am caught and tried in a court of law, then I suppose that's how it works nowadays. Being able to retire with Hinamizawa at its most peaceful, it's been in 100 years, could be the happiest thing that's ever happened to any of the Sonozaki leaders of past generations. Mion leaned a shoulder against the paper door, then slid down it and flopped onto the ground. It was an act of such resignation that just seeing it made me hurt inside. Do you want to drop kick her? That's fair, apparently she doesn't give a shit. The numerous terrible crimes Mion had been a part of suddenly began to fade from her mind. Keiji! Hey Mion, I don't care what happens after this. Can't you just try to struggle as much as you can? Try to run away? As soon as I began to think that, Rena's ringing voice filled the room. But, Rika-chan and Satoko-chan, you killed them, didn't you, Mi-chan? The sharp points of her words stabbed into my chest despite not being directed at me. I'm not saying that it's okay if you killed other people. Regardless, Mi-chan, you killed Rika-chan and Satoko-chan. Thank you, Rena, for keeping us on target. Oh, one second. Wow. Rena's words were more biting than any I had ever heard. Even now that we knew all the heavy history pressing down on Mia's shoulders, she criticized her for killing our friends. As she should! You're crazy for not criticizing her, Keiji. Just as I bear the duty of the Sonozaki family, Rika bore the duty of the Furde family. That duty was to protect the ritual storehouse. My chest tightened. I learned around last year that Rika-chan had said something about it. The bars on the storehouse were too heavy for her, and she wanted to change them to a simpler lock and key. Even the priest before her had complained about it being heavy. He was very aware of how hard it was for Rika-chan. I mean, the rent was cheap, but you expect some jank with the city as a cost. Noise, cranky roommates, major bad rules. Major or rules, but not we will actively kill everyone you love. I know. I will make sure to guard it. So I want to replace the lock with something lighter. I replied on behalf of the Sonozaki family leader. Ever since the string of freak death incidents, there seem to be people who are insolent towards Onishiro-sama. So you shouldn't replace the lock with a simpler one. That said, the leader of the Kimiyoshi family, Old Man Kimiyoshi, If that's difficult for you, Rika-chan, then I think it's okay to replace the lock, he said. The very fact that it was locked with a key was an indication of it being somewhere you mustn't enter. There's nobody bad enough to break in and go inside, he said. Even if we were alike as leaders, I couldn't find it in me to argue with Old Man Kimiyoshi since I owed him so much. In the end, we decided to change out the lock on the storehouse and switched it with a really cheap and light padlock. Oh man, is this really alright? Nana says that if possible, we should keep the lock the same. It'll be alright. You're quite the worrywart. If something happens, this old man will take all the responsibility. Do you promise? Do you mean you'll take responsibility as leader of the Kimiyoshi family, right? You should be well aware of how sacred the things inside really are. It's okay. There aren't any bad cats in Hinamizawa who will open the lock and break in. Meow meow. This village never thought to warn new citizens of the village. No, of course not. Then they'd never have new citizens. Ouch. Sobs escaped from my mouth. Something hot and wet dripped down in spades and fell onto the tatami mat. I'd already heard of the thieves entering the ritual storehouse during the Wataganashi festival. There were 4 of them. We decided to act within the day. At the same time, we needed to demand that the ones who allowed the thieves to break in, Riki-chan of the Faraday family, and Old Man Kimiyoshi, take responsibility. My tears dripped and dropped. Dripped and dropped. At some point you have to have logic of, I really can't properly use the lock. We can barely lift it to mean we have to murder you for having bad arm strength. Yes, that's basically what happened. Yeah, how dare Rika be small and frail? And an orphan so no one else can help her. Until just now, I had decided that it was Mion's fault that she killed Rika-chan and the others. But that was wrong. The one who killed them wasn't Mion, it was me. I might as well have killed them. Keiji-kun! I had a chance to stop this tragedy from happening, and yet I didn't. Well, Keiji, honestly, you didn't have a chance to stop this tragedy from happening. Takano would have gone in. Takano would have gone in. Nothing would have stopped that woman. And that would have killed Rika and the mayor and Takano and Thingamajig. Photo guy, brain. The only people who would have been spared is you, and maybe you could have convinced Shion not to go in as well. Other than that, nothing else is his fault. Any lock is easy to open if the tools are right. No matter how thick. Lockpick sometimes, I see. Also this, why you warn people? They went out of her way to hide anything about the warehouse, then punish you for doing a minor crime in literally everywhere else in the world. Cheap curiosity got the better of me, and I didn't... If at the time I had stopped us from sneaking into the ritual storehouse, Riki-chan and the others wouldn't have had to die. If I had, then nothing would have happened. We would be spending our days having lots of fun like we always did. I was an idiot. Don't worry, Chibi Brownie, I promise I won't break any traffic laws on my way home from work. Just like I promised not to deep fry you and sell you to Nando's at a discount. I'm not chicken, Nando's won't take me. They also don't deep fry their chicken, so no! Wait, that means the other bit's a lie. Shit! Please don't break any traffic laws, look after yourself, and do not die! If by shedding tears I could take it all back, then I would have filled up the room with them. However, such a meager act wouldn't be enough to redeem myself for the crime I've committed. Kei-chan, you're not at fault. Mion gently began to speak to me, as if trying to reason with me. As the leader of the Sonosaki family, I needed to act. But given the history of the Sonosaki family, thinking about it now, it's no big deal. Maybe I should have saved my friends, even if it meant casting all that aside. I yielded to it. That's why I killed those 2. I, Mion Sonosaki, and nobody else killed them. I had hundreds of chances to stop it, but I didn't stop. I gave in to the easy role that was handed to me, and abandoned all thought of fighting for my friends. 1 second! There you go. I'm just deflecting your hunger. So this is my crime. I killed them. Mion Sonozaki. She's not specifically saying who she's killed, because she said those two. And theoretically, 5 people have died. But she's only saying 2. I'm worried. Oh no, I jaywalked into the sacred street. Help, my family will be hit by a bulldozer. With these hands, killed them. And nothing whatsoever changed. Nothing. Her masochistic laughter was sad. Especially because Mion boasted in the club that she would turn the tables on whatever predicaments presented themselves. It was so painful. Still, Mi-chan, you saved one person of your own volition. Eh? That's 1 kg Mayabara she saved. As I looked at her surprise, Rena stuck her finger right at my forehead. You left Keiji-kun alive. As strong as you are, Mi-chan, it would have been no trouble for you, but you didn't kill him. Uh-oh. That's right. Mion was so cunning that nobody could stand up to her, even in our club. If she had seriously tried to kill me, I would have been dealt with on the very first night. So many people have been sacrificed, but I was left out in the cold. When did I first realize it? Even though people were disappearing one after the other, for some reason I had this vague belief that only I would be left alive. Huh. Why didn't I kill him? As a demon, I can't even begin to guess. Maybe Mion had some reason she didn't want to kill you. What's that supposed to mean? Shh. Mion put a finger to her lips to say that Rena didn't need to talk. Is Oshi waiting outside? Yeah. Any way out? No. They said they have the place surrounded. It seems like they called a lot of cars over the radio. I think they have your entire property surrounded. Mion fell silent. Rena's merciless words felt cruel. But they weren't meant to be. Maybe they were trying to lessen her good friend's pain, if only by a little. Maybe they were considerate, like she was trying to help. Please, turn yourself in. Mion didn't open her mouth, but smiled just a little. We'll go with you. We'll never leave a friend by herself. Save the best to last. So, what else is odd? What else is odd is if she cared so much about the curse, and I don't know, the fact they have a mob, she couldn't just put one guard there? Yeah, you think she would have done that. That's true. The Sweeney gonna bust in. I don't know. Crying children and Rena are the only things I can't beat. She rose, scratching her head. Her face had returned entirely to that of the usual Mion. You know, if one of my friends was a serial... Sorry, I thought I heard something. I was very confused. Anyway. You know, if one of my friends was a serial money, I wouldn't be so buddy-buddy with them. Maybe that's just me. Especially when she killed 2 more of her friends. Like, bro. Ren is wild. Katie's wild. I'm well aware of how serious my own crimes are. even if they accept me turning myself in. It's clearly a demon talking behind you. I'm kind of curious. I might check the VOD and see if it picked up. I think my phone did a thing. My phone's been doing a very silly thing lately where it's been like, you heard a noise? 1 minute. I'm gonna check the VOD. I think it was like my phone's been doing a thing lately where like the Alexa or Google thingy just randomly like goes off now, and it's very annoying. No, I don't want it. There we go. Mian's coming for me. Just watching the VOD now. She heard us, she's in the walls. Scatter! She can't come after all of us! Run! Everyone run! Hide in the closet. Hide in the closet, you find your own spot. Oh shit. Where am I gonna hide? Oh no. I actually can't think of a good place to hide. In the wardrobe. Yeah, it's the fucking Siri again. I just listened to it. It's I don't know why my phone is doing this. Every so often it's just going, I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Why are you listening to me, phone? Why? Ugh, I need to get that checked out. I need to get my phone checked out for demons, evidently. Anyway, back to the street. I'll leave my pop behind to escape, but I'll be back. Quick, Chibi, hide inside the microwave safe lunchbox that I have. No! No. I'm well aware of how serious my own crimes are. Even if they accept me turning myself in, I'll probably never be able to come back here. I couldn't say anything. The number of deaths Mion was involved in was just too large. So much so that maybe after recommending that she turn herself in was, in a way, very cruel. So I'd like to hear one last selfish request. What is it? 30 minutes is fine. Just let me have some time alone with Kei-chan. Huh? My name suddenly came up, and it looked like I was the only one surprised about that. Keiichi-kun, is that okay with you? If you don't want to, then I won't make you. You're right. It's okay if you don't want to. After all, I'm a demon. And Kei-chan is a bona fide human who moved here from somewhere else. For us to be compatible, as long as Onishiro-sama doesn't exist to mediate, simply isn't possible. Phone can't understand no accent. I'm not even talking to it though. But true. Yeah, that's called the consequence of your actions, Mia. Rena, they literally killed your friends and threatened to kill you and me. If you mess up by mistake, don't feel sad. Yeah, leave me alone with the last person on the kill list. I will totally let him leave alive. Yes, that's, yeah. It makes sense, huh? I'm really glad we don't get to make choices in this game, because we make much more sensible choices than Keiichi does. There was no reason for me to hesitate. Mion had been engulfed by heavy, unstoppable tradition. The one who had forced her to kill her friends with her own hands was me, and me alone. Because Keiji's got this weird guilt complex, even though it's not his fault at all! In fact, with me cornered, it would have been okay for me to blame her. However, Mion didn't say one word of blame. Far from it. I was guilty of the same crime, and she let me go. Amidst the fate she could not oppose, she saved me alone. I didn't know whether I should be thankful for that. What do you mean unstoppable? I know! It's so stupid! If there were choices, the story would be over in 30 minutes. It really would. Choice. Convince Dad to move out. Done. Thinking upon it now, I didn't know how much easier it would be if I were to be granted the same punishment as Rika-chan and the others. The only thing I knew for sure was that I had an equal duty to bear, the sins that Mion shouldered. So, when it came to Mion's last request, there was no reason for me to hesitate. Sure, it's fine. I guess this is why Higurashi is a tragedy. Flawed humans made the tragedy happen. Yeah, flawed people. Flawed kids. These are kids. They're not even adults. Thank you. I'd like to thank you too, Keiji-kun. Rena stood up. It looked like she would keep her promise of Mion and leave. Ah, it's fine, Rena. You can wait right here. I just want to go around the yard with Kei-chan. If you're bored, you can go into my room and you can read any manga you like. Ah, and if there are any volumes you'd like, you might as well take them. I don't want to. Mi-chan's books belong to Mi-chan. Rena couldn't bring them back home with her so freely. Oh, you're such a good kid, only at times like these. Mion took Rena's head and rubbed it violently like I always did. Okay, let's go, Kei-chan. I began to walk after Mion, who headed for the hallway, when Rena silently stopped me. Take care of Mi-chan. Yeah. Mi-chan really does believe she won't ever be able to come back. I didn't know much about laws, but with as many deaths as she'd been involved in, the chances of her escaping a heavy punishment seemed non-existent. Watch out. She doesn't do anything rash, okay? Mion might not surrender herself to justice, but instead choose to put an end to things herself. Rena had already thought that far ahead, 'cause Rena's a smart, smart girl. Right. I won't let that happen. Rena rubbed the tears which had fallen without me noticing them. Okay then go after her. I nodded and followed Mion, who had disappeared out the front door. Mate, you literally just stared into an empty warehouse. What about that means? I am 100% at fault and I deserve death because he's an idiot. Well, I did a bad thing that I had no idea at the time was a super taboo that have repercussions that I could have never known. If there were choices in this game, the amount of drop kicks I would have done is uncountable. God, I came in at a happy innit of the game. Yeah, this is one of them bits. I don't know who hacks dumber, Keiji or the side characters of horror movies. Keiji. Right, he won't let that happen. Yeah. I could clearly hear Rena sobbing from the other side of the paper door. Why was Mi-chan made the success of the demons? Maybe it just had to be that way, but it's just so awful. Something hot burned down my cheeks. They weren't my tears. I fiercely wiped them away. They were my tears, I believe, actually. I mean, I was this melodramatic when I was a teen. I'm surprised I survived as long as I did. I remember being a teen. It was a melodramatic time, that's for sure. I was mostly a stupid little shit, but not this time. This was the last of my time I could offer Mion, so I absolutely didn't want to let her see my tears during it. Mion was already waiting outside the front door. So what have you got to tell us, Mion? I got an achievement called Twisted Sisters. Sorry about that. Jesus. I put my shoes on and tapped my toes against the floor a few times, then left, and Mion timidly came over. Why is she turning red at a time like this? Can I hold your arm? It was such a modest request. I don't mind. With my permission, her face lit up with glee, like a child being given a toy, and took my arm. Do you get kind of nervous with your arm in mine? This is familiar, isn't it? You're not thinking, for example, that I'd suddenly put you in a world-class log or anything. You two say the same things. I don't think that at all. Why would you mention her? Back when nothing had gone wrong yet, during those nostalgic days of bustling commotion at Angel Mort, I counted back and was amazed. It'd only been 1 week ago. I had been arm in arm with Shion too. Linking arms with Mion like this really reminded me that they were twins. How much strength they put into it, the sensation of their arms, their warmth and blood flowing. I could feel their living sensations were exactly the same. Good. Now you can't escape this knife. Knife! I think Shion liked you too, Kei-chan. I see. If this were a regular conversation, I might have jumped back, red in the face. Right now, though, no matter what I heard, my mind remained at peace. Mion and Shion, you got along well, didn't you? Well, I wonder. Ah, shite, this was Shion and not Mion, isn't it? I don't know this game. I should know because I watched the anime, but I can't remember! And it's great that I can't remember. I thank my shitty memory for this. Well, I wonder, Kei-chan, do you think your right hand and left hand get along well? Huh? My right hand and my left hand? I don't think you describe them as getting along or not. That's how our relationship is. You can't measure it by a scale of how well we get along. That didn't sound like it meant they got along really well. For example, one of your hands is dominant. So there will always be a better hand. If you only have one oven mitt, you would always put it on your dominant hand without thinking, right? I think maybe it was like that for us. Huh? That doesn't mean, though, that anyone would be okay with losing their left hand. It's that kind of unexplainable relationship. I think maybe you lived too close together and just stopped being able to see it, but I think that means you get along really well. I'm an only child, so the day before the festival, I was really jealous when you and Shion were messing around with each other. I think you're jealous of something that doesn't exist. Yes, we twins used to have a lot of fun playing tricks on people. But now that we have such distinctly different personalities, it just gets in the way. Were they cursed or were they self-conscious? Their relationship was hard to understand for an outsider. Maybe that wasn't an issue someone like me could intrude on. Just staying silent and nodding gently was the best way to advance the conversation. Mion passed through the wide yard and invited me to the biggest desolate forest we'd seen on the way. Such a big forest was part of their property, so I couldn't help but feel small. It's huge. You must have a great time playing in it as kids, huh? Mion seemed to be silently reminiscing. I couldn't look into her mind, but she was probably thinking back to those fun days when they played as sisters without any antagonism. Every time the wind blew, it caressed the treetops and leaves, making a swishing, murmuring sound. Mion remained silent for a long time, thinking back on her younger sister, whom she had gotten rid of with her own hands. There was no need for me to get a word in. Just walking like this, arm in arm, was enough. Mion suddenly stopped and turned. Shion is still alive. Really? Mion took a hard look into my eyes, then nodded quietly. Yeah. I'd been thinking to give her the most horrible death of all, so I had her locked up. I never did think of a good way to do it, though. Mion sounded as though she hated Shion, but also deep down, she didn't completely detest her. Here we are, Katie. Let's hope there's no deadly snakes in here today. That would be a shame. So I took my other hand and rustled Mion's hair with it. Mion didn't only do the same to me. She saved Shion too. Mion may have been a demon and led many people to their deaths, but she fought against it. She was able to save 2 people. As I petted Mion, she narrowed her eyes with an entranced smile and untangled her arm from mine. Then Mion quietly said, "Come with me. I want you to see all of my sins. Although, Kei-chan, it might be the worst thing you've ever seen." I could sense it. There I would probably find all the sacrifices up until now. Looking at them would mean accepting Rika-chan and Satoko's deaths, as well as accepting that my best friend had done it. That's an optimistic way of looking at it. It really is. You keep forgetting she murdered 2 of your friends. I know. He remembers. He just doesn't seem to care. Wait, the body pit I joked about exists? Potentially, yes. Let's go look at the body pit. Let's go look at the body pit. Let's go look at the body pit. It's already happened, and it's in the past. You can choose not to look, Kei-chan. If you don't want to, then wait here. I will personally end everything. I was taken aback by how ominous that sounded. She's a 10, but she has a tortured shed and a body pit. Pass. I remembered what Rena had told me. Mion might not surrender herself to justice, but choose to put an end to things herself. I couldn't leave her on her own. I hope the body pit smells nice, at the very least. I hope so. Besides, I agreed to her last request, didn't I? Even if it was hard for me to accept, I'll still do it. Even if I avoided looking, it was something that had already happened. It doesn't matter. I want to see. Yes? Mion Sonozaki is the best friend I could ever have. That won't change. It never will. It should! KG! Get some standards, my boy! Even if KG thinks it sounds ominous. The treetops softly swayed in the wind. You and Ren are both. Why do you only get really cool at times like this? Normally I'd say something rude right back at her, evading the question, but today I didn't. Katie's very into yandere. That would explain a lot. Also, Shion is still missing, right? Mion is the only one that knows where they were locked up, and the authority to let her go. This is also basically murder. Also, welcome #3 at. 3 hashtag at even. I got that wrong. The best you could have is friend serial murderer. That's biscuit sad, innit? Shion, his best friend by elimination, clearly. I just answered with a smile. At last, Mion started walking into the thick forest, into the deepest part. Best friend royale. Renna wins! After following a thin path that looked like an animal trail for a while, we finally came across a steep incline with a tunnel that reminded me of a coal mine or a bomb shelter. We were surrounded by shallow hills. It had been created in a spot not visible from the outside. Hello, Dudakaya, welcome. Do I like Higurashi? For the most part, yes. I feel like the intros drag a little too long, but once the tension gets started in these games, it's so good. Weena, Keiji dinner. Keiji about to be dinner. Let's cook Keiji in the forest. We were surrounded by shallow hills. It'd been created in a spot not visible from the outside. For the bugs in the Oddie pit, most likely. And for the bugs in the body pit, yeah! I have watched the anime. It was a long time ago, though, so I don't remember it very well. So I once I finish this chapter, I really want to track it down, but it's not really anywhere good to stream at the moment. So unless you're one of those lucky bastards that actually has it on DVD, it's very hard to get your hands on right now. And then I'd only want to watch up to the end of this chapter, which I think is like the first 8 episodes, because I don't want to remember the rest before playing it. I'm sorry if my English bad. I actually speak Portuguese. I have to rely on Google Translate. No worries. Appreciate you being here. And trying different languages. And trying to watch a stream in a different language you're not as good at. It's impressive. Talent. Look at me too. Glad to see the cops also now know about the body pit over radio. Yes, they do. Looks like another atrocity will be added to the public consciousness about this village. Yay! There were many silhouettes of crows in the trees here and there. The abnormal odour I'd been smelling for a while was doubtlessly escaping from inside this place. If you want to turn back, now's your chance. I don't know what kind of person Mion Sonozaki is to you, but if you go inside, that Mion will probably... She won't change. I'll say it as many times as I need to. Mion Sonozaki's the best friend I could have had. I clenched my fists. Inside, there was probably a sight beyond anything I could imagine. If I let my guard down, I might end up vomiting. Even so, I'll endure it. I'll overcome this pain and suffering. It will never change that Mion is my greatest friend. I'm nothing more than a demon. So I don't understand human feelings anymore. Oh, the body pit smells? That sucks. Yeah, kind of happens with body pits. KG, I can fix that. How can a life like this not have 2 people watching it. You're a very good person. I think Twitch doesn't come up with the right ideas. Aw, thank you. Appreciate that. It's okay. We're live over on YouTube as well, and there's a whole 8 people over there. So in total, we've got 8, 9, 10, 11 people. That's how amazingly popular I am. Absolutely owning the internet. I have a feeling, though, that I know why Mion fell in love with you. Don't say it. Don't say like it's not related to you. You're Mion. You're not a demon. You're a human with human blood, and you're my friend. Mion made a gesture like she was wiping tears from her eyes, then placed her hand on the big door of the tunnel entrance. Yeah, bye. Are you prepared? Have you all prepared your stomachs? The lock on it was dauntingly strong-looking. Mion, I can fix his head on a pike! In Minecraft. It seemed to demand the appropriate resolution of whoever would enter, just like the ritual storehouse. It's hard enough to get 10 people to watch a movie together, that's true! So to have that many watching one person at the same time, I'm more popular than a movie. When the double doors opened, a stifling, rotten air and a bunch of winged insects came rushing out. I remembered accidentally killing a hermit crab a long time ago by leaving its tank out on the porch, and how intense the odour it left was. If it was the smell of a corpse, then it's certainly what it smelled like. Inside, it was pitch black, but Mion flicked a switch and turned on a light bulb, illuminating the interior. A path turned into a series of intricate wooden tunnels. We passed spaces that looked like they were for storage. We passed places that looked like someone had lived there. All this indicated that it had been used as a bomb shelter and stockpiling during the war. Do I prefer Mion or Shion? I just don't know how to answer this question. I think I prefer Mion. I feel like, evidently maybe this isn't true, but I get the impression that Mion's more manipulative. I know Shion's more manipulative. I know Mion can be too, but I feel like I can at least have a giggle and not be like second guessing literally everything she says, whereas with Shion I am all the time. The anime is very gore. Yes, it is for this bit. It is definitely for this bit. I do remember some of this. Jeez, this has got to be... one second. Bam. I need to get some auto modding on Twitch working. Oh well. Yeah, rotting carcasses do not smell good, can confirm. I don't like to know how you can confirm. So boss like murderers, got it. It's not like that. I feel like I could hang out with Mion and be happy. Jeez, this has got to be the worst body pit I have ever read about. Not even storing the body correctly and letting him decompose. I think the nanny started this. Yeah, I think so. It didn't give an impression of a dugout bomb shelter that had just been left there, though. There was a sense of dignity, as though it were a second Sonozaki house constructed underground. Despite being in pitch darkness below the ground, the voices of the cicadas were entering through an air hole somewhere, giving it a very mysterious feel. You saw what was in the ritual storehouse, right? The piles of torture instruments. All of them were created to uphold the strict religious laws of Onigufuchi village. They were tools used to kill those who broke the laws in terrible ways, as a warning to others. That was a long time ago. Wataganashi, originally a ritual meant as a deterrent, was once overseen by the three families. It's incredibly wild. This town lore, incredibly wild. And if you look to the left, Keiji, you can see my twin dying from toxic air. Due to the right, we have a dead clown. Yay! I made a mistake. I was a kid. I forgot to follow your channel. Me using Portuguese song that no foreigner will understand is part of it. I do not understand the slang, but is it I was a kid? Is that a Portuguese slang? Tell me about it. Explain. Also, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Do that, yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. But thanks to the Kimiyoshi and Furude families going into decline, and the way times have changed, actually carrying it out became difficult. I can imagine why. You'd never think people could be okay with drowning people in a swamp and killing them in modern Japan. That's why the Sonozaki family built this. A secret place, so that we could continue the rite of Wataganashi, even in modern times. Mion opened a large, strikingly different door, and inside was none other than a modern storehouse for ritual implements. It's exactly the same, but a lot cleaner. There's quite a few, isn't there? Some of them were actually brought here from the original storehouse. All of the things that had been rusty and covered in dust, so didn't seem real. But the things in here were different. Wataganashi, commonly known as the event where Higurashi becomes chaos, once and for all. Yes! That part I just get very excited to get to every route. When you know shit's gonna hit the fan and it's gonna be great. Every one of them had been well maintained and kept in a state that they could be used right away. Blades gleamed and spikes were sharpened. Also, perhaps as a precaution for the splatter of blood, the walls and ceilings were covered in the kind of tiling you would see in bathrooms, and there was even a drain set amidst a slight slope on the floor. There was also a coiled rubber hose along the wall attached to a faucet, perhaps for cleaning up the splattered blood. According to something a leader from a long time ago wrote, blood splatter has impact, despite the fact that it doesn't tax the sacrifice. Wataganashi was meant as a deterrent, after all. My ancestors, though, thought up all different kinds of things to show off. She said that, Mion pointed deeper into the torch room, to a spot veiled in darkness. There was surprisingly a room floored with tatami mats, and in the corner was a pile of cushions. They're seats for the audience. Wataganashi was meant as a deterrent, after all. It wouldn't make sense if there were no guests. I couldn't speak, and I couldn't think of anything to say anyway, except that Mion revealing this to me made her heart feel any lighter than I was prepared to listen for as long as I needed to. Now, Keiji, pick which one you're going into. I'll be waiting. If blood is all you need, just Red Cross or Blood Bank or something, Keiji will be penetrated by me. Right here is where I killed everyone. There were no spectators to watch me, but I did the Wataganashi very well. Well, perhaps there is one spectator. Huh? A spectator? Me. I, the demon, was watching the entire time. Mion held the Wataganashi ceremony. Mion cackled in self-depreciation. It wasn't a nice sounding laugh. Back there is the prison. Is Shion there? She nodded slightly. Mion's Wataganashi had ended today. I needed to tell Shion that I was safe without a moment's delay. After all, she was probably trembling in fear at this moment, worrying about when she would be killed. Summing up Wataganashi, cannibal event where a lot of people died. Correct. I'm reminded of Bill and Ted quote, I made an excellent guitar riff. Imagine Keiji just goes, whoa, this is hot. How would Mion react? He seems into it with those descriptions. I think saying that Keiji's into yanderes is entirely correct. He is totally the I can fix her man. I can fix her, it's okay, I can fix her. Or she can fix me with many of those weapons. Mion with a landscape face is the best. The ostentatious door on the other side opened, revealing what must have been an incredibly expansive base on the echo it made. Mion groped around in the darkness. A handful of naked light bulbs came on in there. As my eyes adjusted, more and more of the great cave showed itself in the faint light. The walls were bare rock surface, and it felt so savage that bomb shelter was the most apt term for it. There were small barred rooms built here and there, like holes made by insects biting their way through a giant piece of fruit. It was immediately clear that each one of them was a prison. Where is everyone? Rika-chan and Satoko? Their corpses? I grimaced at her having said it outright. Yeah, that's right. The poor things being left here in the dark like this. I didn't want them to get infested with bugs, so they threw them down the well. I'm sorry. Ugh. Shion 100% has at least one lung infection from rotting corpses. Probably. Keiji gonna get fixed in the biblical sense. Say what you want about Keiji. He's good with description. He is! He's a poetic motherfucker. So I can't even see their faces in death. I was lucky because I already know the Higurashi story, otherwise I would have been completely lost. Yes, I'm glad you do. I don't need to do a recap for you. Once again, my feelings of regret at having confessed everything to Rika-chan came surging forth. If Mion hadn't attached the word sorry at the end of what she said, I might have punched her. Calm down, Keiji Mayabara. This is not the time to be calm! You said it yourself, no matter what. Mion Sonozaki is your greatest friend. Yeah, my greatest friend. I needed to hear myself say it out loud. Then came the clattering of bars in one of the cells deeper in. When I noticed it, I looked up as well. Shion? Is that Shion? Kei-chan? Is that you, Kei-chan? I ran over to the cell. White hands were peeking out through the gaps in the bars. It really was her. Are you alright, Shion? Are you hurt? No! Shion's face twisted out of shape as she screamed. It was because Mion had appeared right behind me, of course. Shion didn't know everything was over yet. Story's wild, so there can be confusion. I think that's why I don't remember it so well, because I remember being a little bit confused at this ending. So I'm hoping slowing down and reading it at a slower pace rather than having the anime tell me should clear up some confusion. It was because Shion didn't know everything was over yet. Calm down, Shion. Everything's already over. Everything. I spoke in as calm a voice as I could manage to try soothe the agitated Shion. However, it didn't seem like it was getting through her screams. The apps you're using are Google Translate and Twitch. The voice actor in the anime in this part is very scary. She does a good job. Shion, how have you been? No more. Please! No more! I don't want to see anyone else die. If you hate me, then just kill me already. I'm the one you hate, right? Kill me. Kill me right now. Sis! Calm down, Shion. It's already over now. It's gonna be alright. So calm down. Shion, who was screaming and rattling the iron bars back and forth, was truly in a frantic state. I gave a slight shrug of resignation, giving way to Mion. I had realised that Mion was the one who locked her in there. If Mion was the one who had scared Shion this much, then Mion was also the only one who could put an end to this. Mion spoke from over my shoulder, quietly. Relax. I won't kill you. No, I won't kill you just yet. Well, from Shion's PV, Mion just murdered 2 of her friends. Shion didn't just... You forget about old man Kimiyoshi here. Mion didn't just kill 2 of Shion... Well, Shion wasn't really friends with them, but killed 2 young girls in front of her and a man she saw as a father. And now her 3rd friend is here with the murderer. She burst out into a bizarre laugh, as if trying to make Shion's madness worse. Shion broke out into a fierce shiver brought on by that laugh, and rattled the iron bars as she wailed, "Please stop! Don't kill Kei-chan! Kei-chan has nothing to do with this, does he? If you're going to kill someone, then kill me right now!" Yeah, I don't blame Shion. They're going to require some major therapy. I'm sorry, Brownie, my phone is on 5%. I forgot to put my phone on charge last night. Oh, no! So, I'm going to have to put it on charge. Adios, see you next time. Well, thank you for coming to Dakaya. Please make sure your phone is charged. It's very important. It's got important life stuff on there, I imagine. It's very important. Bye! Have a nice day. It's very sad because Shion and Mion seem to have a good relationship. They do in other routes. Kick. Drop. Kick. I don't want anyone else to die! If you want to die that badly, then after I've killed this man, I'll take my time making mincemeat out of you. In accordance with the ancient rites, I'll do it slowly, starting with your extremities. I'll shave you down and mince you. I had that mincing machine set up specifically for you, after all. Or would it be funnier if I were to mince up Kei-chan in front of you now? Hey, quit it already. What do you gain by scaring her at this point? No! Kei-chan, run away! I tried to rebuke Mion for flinging terrible words at her this late in the game, but when I turned around... Keiji! Mion's mouth, so much so that I could hardly believe, had twisted into a shape even thinner than a crescent moon. Oh, here's the banger breakdown music. It was a smile. I could sense it like a jolt of electricity. The person here wasn't my best friend Mion. It was the Mion Sonozaki who had been tossed about by her heavy duty of succeeding the Shion of the Sonozaki family either. Banger starts, Keiji's done for. Keiji is a daft shite. Mion's making the funny face again. Augment to Keiji breakdown music. Yes! As Keiji's mental state breaks down, so does the music. I'm disappointed that more memes haven't been made yet. That's true. This does look very memeable, doesn't it? Then who was she? Bam! I saw sparks flying before my eyes, like what happened when you get hit in the back of the head. The strength of my body drained instantly. My head suddenly became heavy. My knees buckled under the temptation and hit the floor. Then my whole body abruptly collapsed. My face should have hit the floor, but it was comfortable, as if I'd fallen onto a filled futon. My consciousness reeled, then receded. It was the kind of sensation, like if you took a nap in the car, but you were still half awake and could listen to your parents talking as if they were far away. No, you wouldn't be listening, you would only be hearing. It was happening so far away, and the conversation was completely unrelated to you, so you would have no interest in it. So whether Shion was yelling in my ears or Mion in vulgar hysterics, I didn't think it annoying, nor did it interest me. Now then, I wonder how I should go about preparing you. Oh yes, what do you think of a bed of nails? I tested it out on those two little brats. But their hands were too small for the restraining table. Let's do that. Let's do that! Ren is gonna feel pretty guilty about this. Yes, she is. I have to take your dog to the vet now. I come back in 5 minutes. Go look after your pupper. I hope they're okay. Pet your dog for me. I hope, who knew the murderer can't be trusted? Not the murderer. Mion held me up from behind and dragged me across the floor. The soles of my feet scraped at it, and one of my shoes fell off. No! Please stop, sis! Please! Stop! Shion's emotions exploded outwards, and she burst into bitter weeping. As if her crying had whetted Mion's interest, she flung me down and returned to the prison cell again. My, you sure can cry with a cute voice, can't you? Your natural bravado was making my skin crawl, but this definitely suits you best. Mion, my big sister, I beg you. I don't care how you choose to kill me, but please, at least let Kei-chan go. I'm begging you. Shion had always acted as though she were a cut above her older sister. That Shion, in such a miserable voice that I couldn't have imagined it during those peaceful times. Prostrate herself in front of her older sister, in front of the older sister you used to scoff at and plead forgiveness. Mion looked down with an expression of cool indifference, one that was plainly smiling with joy. You know, I wasn't planning on listening to your petty wishes. The way you're crying, though, it's just too funny. I think maybe I'll change my mind and listen to you. Since, come to think of it, I never did anything big sister-like for you. Yeah, yes, thank you so much. Alright then, let's hear you apologize for everything. Then maybe I'll let it all be water under the bridge. And maybe, just maybe, I'll let Kei-chan go. Mion said that she might let me go, but she never said anything about letting Shion go. Before long, Shion got on her hands and knees behind the bars and began to speak words of apology. They were too faint for me to hear, but their intentions got across. Despite having watched her with a magnificently jubilant expression, Mion kicked the bars and declared she was unsatisfied. You think you can make up for years of grudges and hard feelings like that? That just will not do. I guess I'll make mincemeat out of you both. No! Wait, sis. One more chance. Just one more chance. Mion stopped and waved her hands again in resignation. Not because she had grown impatient, but only because she was taking delight in abusing Shion. Yet, where the fuck are... They don't have a wire on them, to be fair. I don't think they do. They had a radio, didn't they? Good thing Higurashi and the boys are here. Hopefully, at some point. Any second now, she will find this random crevice in the middle of the mountains, deep in the bomb shelter, to reach us, I'm sure. Yes! We're praying for Ocean. We're praying for Ocean. You can't apologize to my satisfaction anyway. I'll teach you how to make that apology how to make an apology that will get through to your older sister. I'm going to tell you once. And if you even get a letter wrong, you're out. Got it? Yes. Yes. Thank you, sis. Oh. Shion's miserable voice cried out, having become utterly hoarse. The sensation tearing through my chest returned little at a time. I realized I was feeling the feelings of anger bubbling up. I was slowly regaining control of my body. However, I was only able to feel my skin and my blood flowing at the moment. I still couldn't voluntarily move my fingers. Did you memorize it? Then let's hear you say it, sincerely and faithfully from beginning to end, with all your heart. If you can do it properly, then I'll only kill you. Yes, thank you so much. Something was strange. Something had become strange at this point. Until just a few moments ago, I was sure that this had been Mion, but at some point she'd become someone else. The Mion I knew well would never do something so nasty like enjoy trampling over someone's dignity like this. Now, let's hear it. Your big sister is listening closely. Shion Sonozaki is. When I ran over to Shion's cell earlier, had the real thing been swapped out with a fake right behind me? Anyway, this couldn't possibly be Mion. Shion Sonozaki is a lowly, worthless soul, not fit to even lick her big sister Mion's feet. And when I think of the countless times I've been rude to my big sister without knowing my place. Yes, that's the spirit. I'll permit you to say a little more now, okay? Blood circulated through my whole body. My numbed senses were returning. Just a little more. While Shion is still holding that thing pretending to be Mion's attention. Hurry up. Never mind, they're just as stupid as before. Yes, they are. I reflect on how impertinent I've been and swear loyalty to my big sister Mion for the rest of my life, so, Mion's burst of laughter echoed through the cave, growing to a terrifying level. That was not the laugh of someone who was alive in this world. It was none other than the laugh of a demon from the bowels of the earth. She laughed from her stomach until she grew tired of it and stopped smiling suddenly, as if snipping a wire. All right, already. That was funny enough for me. I didn't think you'd throw away that much of your pride. That was plenty enjoyable. Mion began to drag me again, after I finally got feeling in my body back that pulled me towards the torture chamber. Sis! Only kill me! Please forgive him! Don't worry, alright. I'll be sure to kill you real good. After letting you get an earful of Keiji-chan's screams, that is. No! After dragging me to the torture chamber, she skillfully strapped me to the restraining table. Before I knew it, I was sprawled out and bound. She forced open my hand, with which I couldn't even make a satisfying fist, and restrained each one of my fingers. She fastened only my hands and my fingers at that, tightly with hinges that locked in place. No drop kicks. Sis, don't kill him! Sis! The door to the big cave with the jails had been left open, so I could hear Shion's cries of mortification the entire time. Can you hear it, Shion? I'm gonna get started now. Please enjoy Kei-chan's young screams. Give it a fucking rest. Feeling in my body returned, and the first action I took was to tell off that thing that looked like neon. Awake at last, are we? I lied before, you know, about having wanted to give Shion the most miserable death of all, but locking her up because I hadn't thought of a way to do it yet. That was a lie. Mion brought over something like a toolbox. From inside, she removed a large metal hammer, and next to that, she began to line up what looked like long, strangely shaped nails, whose ends had been turned into hooks like the kind you'd see on a harpoon. So, I suppose you can see the direction this is going. Oh, posture check. But yeah, things might get a little gruesome now, so if you are sensitive to that kind of shit, I suggest turning off the stream. I'll let her hear the screams of all those that died because of her, and after they've soaked into her very soul, then I'll kill her. I've got pretty good taste, huh? Who are you? Huh? I'm Mion. Mion Sonozaki. Has the fear driven you crazy? No, you're not. There's no way you can be Mion Sonozaki. Mion snorted and continued her preparations for the horrifying torture. I see. Then if I'm not Mion, then who am I? A demon. Huh? You're not Mion. Mion was just here. Give her back. Kei-chan, is your brain really okay? Are you going crazy with fear? Don't touch me, you damn demon. Give her back. Give Mion back. My best friend. Give Mion back. Mion stood there for a few moments with her jaw hanging open. Not having expected to say that. Bloody hell, Keiji, you know there is the fight part of fight or flight. They're literally murdering. Keiji only has fight or flight or freeze. Fight not included. I myself knew that I was about to go insane. I knew it was nonsense to demand Mion's return when she was right in front of me, but this person in front of me couldn't possibly have been Mion. There was no way I could accept that. So this is what I thought. Mion really had been possessed by a demon and was controlling Mion as if it were a separate personality. Mion was just a victim being manipulated by it. The evil one was really this thing. It all had to be the doing of the demon possessing her. When Mion heard that, she started to guff, laughing so hysterically that she started to cough and almost choked. Keiji's coping mechanisms especially are a wonderful thing. You really are a piece of work, you know that? In this very moment, Mion Sodozaki is trying to kill you and you're trying to reject me. I never knew there was such a funny person in all the world. I might have to go on BRB soon to fill my water bottle because this is not good for my throat. If you want to laugh, do it all you want. No matter what you say though, I won't accept that you're Mion. Give her back. Away with you, demon. K-Chan, are you trying to kill me by drowning me in your own tears? No matter what. Yeah, I'm gonna go get that water 1 second. BRB. Hello! Oh, there we go. My cable decided to be awkward when I sat down! But I'm back. We're good. Hello. Ren and Keiji really did do a dum-dum, didn't they? They very much did. Keiji thinks he could do some on-the-fly exorcism. That is what he's aiming. Away with you, demon! Is a wild thing to say to someone about you torturing you. It is. Just say you find this very hot, and that will kill the vibe. They're going for Keiji. That's true. That would probably fluster Mion. That is probably a good way to defeat Mion. Keiji form of defense. Wait till they are just about to get brutally ripped apart and quote old anti-demon sayings they saw on TV. They thought the power of friendship could overcome it all. They really did. I'm back. Your slipper broke in the middle of the street, but you're okay. I'm glad you're okay. Wonderful. It turns out they are not in a Shonen Jump manga, and this was hardcore seinen instead. Yes, it is. No matter what, I wouldn't lose to that laughter of hers. I shouted loudly. I shouted from the bottom of my heart so that the real Mion trapped inside the Mion I saw in front of me would be able to hear. Oh, KG. Honestly, the writing perspective is really interesting. Like, obviously to have the main character go, it's a demon, it's a demon. We know as the reader that's not correct. But it's so funny to have that. It says a lot about the writing that people don't take that literally. No one in the chat, from what I can tell, is taking him literally right now. Which is great. I think that's a very good writing to let the audience know not to take KG as literally as we read him to be. Shion is just in the background questioning why they feel in love with someone so stupid. Shows that despite the tone, KG is still a kid. Correct. He can now be the next Okage. You can do it, Mion! Don't lose to that piece of shit demon! You're strong! Show me how strong you are! The tears welled up and flooded down her face. Her hands were busy with the restraints, so she couldn't even wipe them. She just let them flow. Please, Mion. Mion! Where did you lose to a demon like this? You're not that weak, are you? Don't lose! Fight! Fight! Mion, desperately enduring her laughter, pressed one of the long nails to the tip of my left pinky. In her left hand was the hammer. At her side were dozens more nails. I could tell what she was about to do, though I wish I couldn't. Even so, I couldn't afford to be scared. That was why I shouted. My side hurts! Sides hurt like they're about to split. Is that all? I'm going to get started now. Be sure to give her some good screams. Not only am I torturing you, Kei-chan, but I'm torturing Shion as well. Why? Why? Why would you... Mion! Then I wept. Only sobs came out. They weren't an acceptance of the torture about to be performed, however. They were tears of regret. That Mion had lost to the demon. Yet, a small change did occur in the Mion in front of me. Her heightened excitement was draining little by little. By the time I'd realized it, the one in front of me had returned to being Mion. Kei-chan, this may not be something pleasant to take to the grave with you. You really seem to want to know, though. So I'll tell you just one thing. I didn't know if this was Mion, or just a display of momentary humanity the demon had recovered. A long time before the demon came to live inside me, it was gnawing at my heart, trying to spur me to violence, but I suppressed it with my reason. That settled the demon down, and I got to thinking it had gone away somewhere. As it turned out, I was wrong. It hadn't left me. It had just gone to sleep. I noticed that there were tears forming in her eyes. The demon woke up again due to a certain small opportunity. What do you think that opportunity was? There was a sad and yet reproachful light in Mion's eyes. Do you understand? I don't. I don't know what gave the demon the chance to beat Mion. This might be strange for me, a demon, to say, but you're the reason that everything got so messed up. The tears welling up in her eyes spilled downwards all of a sudden. At the time, if you'd given me that doll you got without hesitating, maybe everything wouldn't have gotten so twisted. The doll I got. That doll that I got when we had our club meeting at the toy store that Sunday. You probably can't understand. I wouldn't expect you to. But you see, all sorts of things started falling over like dominoes after that, and soon it was too much for me to control. It only made sense that you wouldn't be aware of knocking over the first one, since it was so small. But you're the one who set it up. That can't. Me? If you hadn't made Mion cry, then I wouldn't have had to wake up. Is that enough? For you to die in peace? A mistake that I'd made on that day was what messed everything up? That can't be, can it? It only makes sense that you wouldn't have been aware of it. Even so, Kei-chan, you are without a doubt the cause. If you had nonchalantly given me the doll, that day, then I don't think this would have happened. I wanted to say just like remembering something as I recalled that day. Rena had told me about that. I thought I had apologized. No, you didn't. I didn't apologize to Mion, though. It had been Shion. Yes, you fucking dumbass! I mean, if he knew backup was coming, then I could see it as a method of buying time. But no, he is just stupid, he is. Shion must have been having a mental breakdown with Keiji streaming, Mion, you can't lose, and he's getting tortured. Imagine hearing that, that's gotta be wild. Well, another one to add to Keiji's guilt baggage. Keiji, Sasuke, I will save you. Sasuke about to kill him. Oh whoa, that tiny mistake. Anyone else would have just simple oops. Nah, mate. You were the cause of everyone dying, clearly. Clearly Keiji is to blame. Not this fucked up village and customers and her family. Yeah. In other words, oh god, I hadn't said a single word of apology to Mion. Today I came to this house saying that I had something to apologize for, but I never said a word of apology about this. Come to think of it, when I apologized for going into the ritual storehouse, Mion looked a little bit lonely, like she was disappointed. Why didn't I realize that until just now? Rena told me at the time, now she herself, no. The demon was talking to me. Is the only way for a dense idiot like me to be cured? To be cured? To die altogether? Oh. I could no longer hold back hot tears from pouring out of me. I simply just cried and cried, and reflected indifferently on the taste of my tears, on the taste of regret. Can I start now then? This method of torture is very simple. I'll nail one of these into the joint on the end of your left pinky. Then I'll nail each one in order until I get to your thumb. Then I'll go back to your pinky and nail one into the joint in the middle. And so on, until I hammer 15 nails into your left hand. When that's over, I'll do it for your right hand next. After that, if you're still conscious, I'll tell you. There's a lot of nerves bundled into your fingertips, so it hurts far more than you can imagine. Some people apparently pass out before you finish hammering 30 nails into their hands, so... Mion pressed the tip of the nail into my left pinky finger. My wrists, my arms, all the joints on my fingers were strapped so tightly it hurt. I couldn't even twitch. And Mion also knew he had said sorry, but confused the pair. Nah, it's not good enough. It's not. If anything, because he apologized to Shion, it's worse for her. Suddenly a more feminine version of her turns up, and he can apologize to her, but not to Mion? Yeah, that's fucking worse. I didn't hesitate at all when I was torturing the others. Why do I hesitate now? If this will satisfy your demon, Mion, if it will sate the demon, then do what you will. Are you serious? Compared to with how much I hurt Mion, this is nothing, right? Do as much as you want. In exchange, promise me 2 things. Mion was silent. She did, however, wait for me to speak. After you're satisfied with causing me pain, forgive Shion. She's been punished enough to make up for her crime of sneaking into the storehouse, hasn't she? You. After all this, you can still worry about Shion more than yourself. And the other thing is that when you've had your fill, you disappear. Give that body back to Mion. That's all. I remember Mion tell about Satoko brother and he was killed, so I can understand her. Good plan, Keiji. Kill the vibes as much as you can. Yeah, if they can't enjoy it, then they might not do it. We pray. You know, I'm not even considering the possibility of begging for your life or anything. Kill the terror vibes and replace it with Messiah complex. Can I ask you to promise 3 things instead of 2? The 3rd thing is to leave me alive. You said 2 in the beginning, didn't you? So you can't have any more. That's a shame. In such an abnormal situation, Mion and I laughed quietly together, as if sharing a stupid joke. I probably won't keep these promises, understand? I'm a demon after all. I guess there's nothing I can do then. I recalled tightening my hands into fists when enduring the pain at the dentist's office. Right now, though, they were open all the way to my fingertips, so I couldn't even grip them. So instead, I tightened my toes. Okay, do it. I've prepared myself already, so do it. You were waiting like this to hammer nails. Hammering the nails in is scarier. It's going to diminish my readiness, after all. Mion put down the hammer and gently stroked my cheek. Kei-chan, I'll agree to just the 3rd thing, okay? Huh? My 3rd wish? To save me? She'll agree to it. Your 1st wish? To save Shion. That's long done for. The demon will kill her. It's already been decided, so I can't stop it. So I give up on that. Her delicate fingers slid from my cheek to my chin. As for your 2nd wish, to give this body back to Mion, that won't happen either. After today, Mion will never come back. From today on, even if my body is here, he'll just be a body. Because the Oni has taken it over. That isn't true. Mion is... Mion! Don't say such things! Like she won't ever come back. Can you hear it? That sound. Mion gently closed her eyes and listened. I definitely heard it as well. Slam. Slam. It was a dull noise that repeated at fixed intervals. A low noise accompanied by vibrations. A lot of people were ramming the iron doors to this underground ritual storehouse. You're late, Sir Renner probably called Oshi. That spaced-out girl being so quick-thinking was the one thing I didn't anticipate. Mion sees Satoshi and Keiji. Probably. And Keiji's incredibly calm. To, like, resign himself and prepare himself for torture like that, absolute balls. We've insulted him as a coward, but at times, maybe not so. I'll agree with you there. Mion grinned like she'd been outwitted, then took something that looked like an electric razor out of her pocket. When she pressed the switch, pale blue sparks flew out with a snapping noise. Keiji has balls, he do. A therapist about to make bank? Yes. You probably never seen one before, right? It's a real stun gun. It's illegal, and its output has been increased quite a bit. Was that what you hit me with before? That's not a toy children should be playing with, you know. You're right. It seemed she wanted to use the stun gun on me. Unable to move, I felt her press the cool lump of metal into my neck. Slam! I heard a roar, as though they'd been broken down the first large door. The halls were a bit complex, but aside from the door to this torture chamber, there was nothing in their way. I won't kill you, but I will have you go to sleep for a bit, Kei-chan. Oshi-san will be here soon. This'll only hurt a bit. Feeling the same shock as before, gritting my teeth wasn't going to help much, but I clenched them tightly anyway. However, just as she did when she was about to hammer the nails in, she hesitated a little. I cracked open my tightly closed lids. I'm sorry for disgracing Mion. I made a promise before coming here. Whatever happens, the Mion inside my heart won't change. Look, forget about that. If you ever see me out after today, don't come near me. By then, it will be the demon. That inherited my corpse. What are you talking about? Just as I tried to say that, a much stronger light than before shined, like a television being switched off. My consciousness went black. I mean, yeah, he has balls of steel, but if only they worked in any other situation. Yeah, fair. Twisted Sisters learned the truth was the achievement I just got. Therapy. What do you have, Keiji? Yes. Keiji's mental status would be yes. A string of disappearances occurred in Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone City, XX Prefecture. The suspect is Mion Sonozaki, 1X years old. She is suspected to have kidnapped 5 Hinamizawa residents between July 19 and June 21st. Oryu Sonozaki, Shion Sonozaki, Kirichiro Kimiyoshi, Rika Furude, Satoko Hojo, imprisoned them and killed them. Preliminary investigations on the incident were delayed due to insufficient evidence, but it was resolved coincidentally and shockingly. On the morning of the 23rd, a vehicle patrolling the Sonozaki property heard screams from inside and rushed in as an emergency measure. They secured the suspect's missing younger sister, Shion Sonozaki, and her 2 missing classmates, Keiji Maebara and Rena Ryugu. The suspect fled the scene. Deep in the detached basement of the Sonozaki property, which is believed to have been used to kill those who disappeared, were discovered hair, flakes of skin, blood, etc. from the 4 missing persons, Oryu Sonozaki, Kirichiro Kimiyoshi, Rika Furude, and Satoko Hojo. We conclude that the missing persons were tortured in the torture chamber. However, their remains have still not been found. At one of her one of her imprisoned classmates' advice, we continued searching the detached basement of the Sonosaki property, which was where they were imprisoned, believing that they were. However, we still have not located the suspect's escape route. In addition, investigations are continuing as to her participation in the serial freak death incidents of recent years, thinking it would give some clue. But no evidence that Mion Sonosaki was involved, either directly nor indirectly, has been found. There are still many unclear points to the motive behind the incidents, and as those of the Sonosaki family and the residents of Hinamizawa have been extremely uncooperative in assisting us, we expect to require a long time to clarify them. The opinion of a local officer knowledgeable about the region is that this may have been a lynching, an internal forum of punishing sacrilegious acts acting out against the beliefs of Hinamizawa village. Oh, to Polar Wolf, you basically missed the whole thing. Let's see if we get to the end, because this seems like a summary bit, and then maybe I'll fill you in after that. It is clear that these incidents are particularly rooted in this religion, and the Infectual Police Department has ordered a cautious investigation, and thus the perfect time for the trio to move the hell out of Dodge. We anticipated gaining valuable clues from the missing person believed to have been imprisoned for the longest time, Shion Sonosaki, the suspect's younger sister. Her mind was stricken by grave after effects of the incident, and she has not been in a state of mind to properly answer any questions about what she knows. The psychiatrists concluded that she is in a temporary state of shock, but it does seem hopeful that she will recover today. Either. Struggling with internet for 2 straight days? Oh lordy. A few days passed since that time. After that, I was rescued by Oshi-san and his subordinates, whom Rena had called in. Aside from my entirely blank state of mind, I had no internal injuries. The most I had was a small burn mark where the stun gun had hit me. You're on mobile data right now? Oh lordy. As I was having a checkup in the hospital, Oshi-san asked me all sorts of things. But I don't really remember what he asked or how I answered him. From what I heard, surprisingly, Mion still hadn't been captured. There was apparently a great many hallways and smaller rooms extending out from the depths of the prison. It wouldn't be strange if she had fled one of those and hidden herself. The one fortunate aspect amidst the misfortune was that Shion had been safely secured by the police. Bryony, what do you think of plot choice? You have the story ending meant for the game, or take the chat room. If someone donates 500, she gets teleported into the past to relive the story, reset the game. Sorry. Not likely to have Wi-Fi till Monday and Tuesday. Oh my god, a whole weekend without Wi-Fi. You poor thing. 1 second, I just have to blow my nose. Oh lordy. So if someone donates 500, I have to play the game again? I would rather not. Someone donates 500, we go straight on to the next one, which is basically play the game again. But slightly differently. Because that's how Higurashi chapters work. When I last saw Mion, she seemed like she was going to take me with her and then kill me. Is Renna dead? Renna is not dead. Renna is not dead. She probably didn't have enough time though, since Oshi-san came running faster than she predicted. That was the only real fortunate thing to have happened. Of course, the rescued Shion, despite having no external wounds, now had a big, deep wound in her heart. She was in a severe state of confusion when they rescued her, and apparently she bit the police officers trying to resist. From what he heard, she was seeing Mion in everyone she saw, hated not only the hospital, but even her own name, and had shut herself up somewhere in Shishibone, hiding her location. Additionally, in fear that Mion would come for her, she was moving from place to place every day, and even her parents weren't sure where she actually was. Rena is safe. Rena was saved the day. She called in Oshi-san when things were going wrong and saved the day. But then she also put us in horrific danger, so it's a 50-50 on that. Wherever she was living, even now, Shion was spending her days in fear of Mion's shadow. The police were investigating the Sonozaki underground storehouse at this moment. Since they couldn't find the remains of the other sacrifices, hadn't Mion thrown their corpses into a well? I had a feeling I'd say that to him. That meant a hidden tunnel, vertical like a well, was somewhere in those underground passages. The secret underground without any maps or architectural drawings, which had swallowed up the remains of Rika-chan, Satoko, and everyone else, was still unwilling to speak the truth. I was brought back to the basement again, too, for an on-site inspection or something, but I didn't remember being of any help. I never wanted to go back there again. For days afterwards, the Sonozakis, living in Okinomiya, in other words, Mion and Shion's parents, their big-name Yakuza, would come to our house to apologize, bringing many of their followers with them. However much my parents refused, they piled up many hundreds, thousands of yen bills, calling it consolation money every day. The amount of money grew each day, and after it had passed 2 million yen, they were then given an envelope containing a letter. I don't know what was written in the letter. My parents talked about it by themselves for 2 whole nights and decided to move away. Smart! Keiji actually got away in this one. Holy shit. I see. You're moving, huh? When? The end of next month. I won't even have been in Hinamizu for half a year. Oh, I'll be lonely. I'm the only one left. You are! Rena smiled sadly. If I just said yeah, I thought it would make her even more lonely, so I changed the subject. Now Rena, do the same. It didn't work out so well last time Rena did that. 'Cause, you see, when Rana moved out, she went crazy and had to move back, so... Sus. This is sus. This is very happy for a Higurashi ending, to be fair. Something bad might happen. Here's something to think about. That's how I broached it. Mion hadn't actually fled, but had been demoned away in the truest sense of the term. Where she went after she disappeared, that we didn't know. What was there? Where had she disappeared to? I hoped there was a hobby shop dealing in imports, the kind Mion liked. In that place she would definitely be free from the burdensome fetters of her family. It's a good ending, maybe, and not live as Mion Sonozaki, but just Mion, and enjoy herself. Rena doesn't go crazy in every route, to be fair, just lots of them. Rena was the sane one in this route. Maybe she's already met up with Satoko and Rika-chan. They must also have been waiting for the day Rena and I would join them. spending all their time doing club activities as lively as they were. When I told Rena that, she smiled and nodded to me. The incidents the Sonozaki family had been trying so hard to hide were exposed to the magazines from this single tiny seam. The serial incidents of recent years were all pulled up like a long vine in the ground one by one, and for many days news of it was brought up on talk and variety shows. The shows of which were comedic and silly, and never once tried to touch upon the grim, heavy history that Mion had been bearing. It made me mad to see them bringing this stuff up in jest, but there was nothing I could do about it now. How big an impression would these few short weeks I spent in Hinamizawa have on my life? During these few weeks, I met my best friends. I had the best experiences of my life. I would probably never forget it for as long as I lived. The distorted image of Mion that the media had created. After the masses got tired of treating her like a plaything, they would ball her up and throw her in the trash, and then she would fade from their memories. As one of the few people who knew the real Mion, I must always make sure I remember her. Beyond any doubt, that will surely become my offering to her. The sky reached so far up, and towering clouds floated through it. The real summer was just before our eyes. Even now, whenever 10 p.m. came around, I would expect a phone call from Shion, or rather Mion. Now that everything was over, of course, she would never call me. But it was precisely because she wouldn't call me that I was scared of who would call me this time. Plus, Mion still hadn't been caught. I couldn't say for sure that everything was completely over. On the other side of that fear, though, were my prayers that Mion was safe. When I thought like that, I was able to sleep, even with such terrifying thoughts. Lights were off. Before her attacking, when the lights were off, was something that scared me. However, that feeling changed to regret within 2 days. The moonlight filtering through the gap in the curtains shone onto the desk and illuminated the doll. That's right, the doll that I should have given to me on that day. She said it was an import from England or something, and it was all the rage, didn't she? From what Shion said, the most popular among them were the ones wearing the fluffy dress. After being released from the incident, the first place I went was that toy store. Everything was apparently sold out besides the things on the storefront displays. I was refused once they said they wouldn't sell the display products, but when they realized I was Survivor A from that incident, they immediately consented. Of course, even if I brought it, I might never have the chance to give it to her again. Even knowing that, I waited for the opportunity to give it to her. I waited like this for the opportunity, with it on my desk so I could give it to her at any time. Plunk. There was a weird noise. It was a noise I wasn't used to hearing. It was too big to be raindrops, and it was completely different from the sound of lost bugs make when they ram into fluorescent lights. I figured I must have misheard it, and nestled back into my futon. Plunk. The noise happened again. I wasn't hearing things. I definitely heard it. Where was it coming from? I got up and turned on the light. If there was a second, there couldn't be a third. From where, though? I listened carefully. Plunk. The window. Some sort of pebbles were colliding with my window. When I realised they weren't being blown there by the wind, but rather being thrown by a person, I gave a start. I looked at the clock. It was 2 a.m. Who would it be at a time like this? I quietly peeked out front, through the gap in the curtains. The light at the gate, despite being so late, I saw someone. They picked up a piece of gravel and threw it at the window. It hit the window and made a plunking noise. Who was it? Ah! I caught my breath in surprise. If my eyes weren't deceiving me, that person was Mion. I threw open the window and looked at the figure again. My eyes certainly weren't deceiving me. It was Mion. It was Mion! She was alive! Mion pressed her index finger to her lips and made a shh motion so I wouldn't shout. If she hadn't, well, I was nearly about to cry out. Uh-oh, here comes trouble. Mion was in a very delicate position right now. Even if it was the middle of the night, I shouldn't call out her name. I waved her, gesturing that I'd be right over, flung on my coat atop my pajamas and flew out the door. I quickly hit the brakes just before going downstairs. Although happiness was spouting within me, I had the sad feeling that this would be our final parting. So I went back to my room again and grabbed the doll. If there was a God, I don't think I would have ever thanked him as much as today. No, don't go. Bad feelings time. Here comes the self-hatred. He never learns. Even if it would be the last time we saw each other, I was so grateful for this one chance to give it to her. I slipped into my sandals and unlocked the door, unhooked the chain, and leapt out of the house. Ha! Ha! Mion! It's been a while. How are you? Been doing alright? It was like how we used to meet every morning. Mion waved to me and responded like she always did. It was doubtlessly Mion. It was the real Mion. Are you alright hanging around this place? I really shouldn't be. She certainly wasn't acting like she knew the police were following her. It was almost like she was a patient who had gotten tired of staying in the hospital and snuck out. Her speech was relaxed enough to make me think that I couldn't help but be surprised. That relaxation, I thought, was more like Mion, and I was happy for it. Hey Mion, remember that time you tried to torture me and killed most of our friends? Good times! She warned you with the puppet corpse thing. She did warn him! She's warned him! Stay away! Anyway, what's wrong? What do you need at this hour? I wanted to talk to you one last time. That was when I noticed them. On Mion's forehead were big droplets of sweat. Her expression, too, which I had thought to be a satisfied smile, was, upon closer inspection, trembling slightly, and I realized she was forcing it. Well, I can't stay for any longer. A pained note was begging to enter her words as well, as if just smiling was a feat for her. Are you all right? Are you not feeling well? I tried so hard until now, but I can tell. I'm done. This is my limit. There. About to come up behind me and take me away. Mion's smile crumbled and started to stiffen. Did she push herself this much? To come all this way for me? Her laughter cut off and changed into rough breathing. I reached out to rub her back, but she knocked me away. Are you okay? Don't force yourself. Oh, that's right. I had something to give you, Mion. This doll. I had wanted to do this one last thing, because I knew how little time you had left. But this last thing, it... There it is. My stomach is burning. Stepped in some jam. Yeah, you did. Mion took a meat cleaver like a knife and stabbed me and pushed it in tight and took it and twisted it. Mion? Hey, what? It hurts. I made it. I made it. I cowered on the ground. My stomach was hot. It was almost spewing fire. Mion watched it and took a few steps back and cackled. I've done it. I've done it all. That's everyone. I wanted to kill. So she got Shion as well then. She found Shion. The last words Mion left me with that day came back to me. After today, Mion will never come back. From today on, even if my body is here, a body is all it will be. By then, the demon will have taken over. The demon. The demon. The demon. Oh, KG. Me on. This can't... I thought we had finally been able to meet. This can't... Mion. A pool of blood of my own design. The doll I brought for Mion died in red. So red. Mion. The good fortune of having been allowed to see Mion once more, and the misfortune of that meeting being torn apart before my very eyes. Should I be grateful or curse it? My emotions were neither of those, as my consciousness sunk deep into a black swamp. The doll I brought for Mion, the blood had ruined it. No matter how I scrubbed and scrubbed, it had needlessly been ruined. The sad moon was so white, it looked frozen. Oh lordy, back to incident reports. Apologies for not reading some of your chats at that point. I kind of just wanted to get into the scene, but yes, you're all correct. KG kind of did deserve that. He was warned. He has no brain cells. He could have picked up the phone and gone, "Hey Oshi, Mion's outside my door. Please help, help, please." The fact that he still had feelings for her after everything they went through, oh my god. KG, you dum-dum. He really did deserve this one. He didn't even go crazy in this one. He was just normally crazy. June 28th, 1983. A violent incident occurred in Hinamizawa village, Shishibone City, XX Prefecture. The victim was Keiji Mayabara, also the victim of the previous string of disappearances. Around 2 a.m, he was stabbed in the stomach with a bladed object by the suspect of the last case, Mion Sonozaki, and was gravely wounded. He was discovered when his parents woke up and was transported to the clinic. He escaped death. The criminal fled the scene. On the same day, at approximately the same time, a fall incident occurred in the Kamishiki apartment complex in Shishibone City, XX Prefecture. The victim was Shion Sonozaki, also a victim of the previous string of disappearances. Later on the same night, neighbours overheard her having a bit of a fight with someone and informed the manager. The manager used the master key to enter the room and discovered the victim had fallen from her 8th floor balcony to her death. He's into yandere. He is! He keeps thinking he can fix them, but they will fix him to death. The room had been torn apart and appeared to show traces of a fight. One neighbour has frequently visited the Sonozaki house for a long time and testified that he heard what sounded like the two sisters having a fight, trading insults back and forth. We believed this was related to the injury case that occurred the same day in Hinamizawa village, perpetrated by the incident subject, and did a thorough search of the room, but we could not find any traces that would imply that anyone but the victim was present. The victim fell straight down into the foliage of a parking strip. Her neck broke and she died immediately. Her clothing was dishevelled and had markings that would imply a scuffle. We also believe, however, that it could have been insanity-induced suicide. It could have been an insanity-induced suicide attempt based on the particular mental state of the victim after the incident. We are conducting a thorough examination on both fronts, suicide and homicide. Yeah, Shion's gone. Keiji seems to have pulled through, though. He's just nearly died. So we're back to just Renner and Keiji surviving. Only two managed to survive this time. That's kind of the same last time, because we didn't have Shion in the mix last time. Only for 5 minutes, understand? Please try not to excite him. Yes, I'll be careful. Clack. The door opened. As I expected, Orochi-san came in. Hello, Mayabara-san. It's been a while, hasn't it? Tell me, how have you been since then? The doctors say my post-operative recovery seems to be going smoothly, but I think it got worse when I saw your face. Now, Keiji, what did we learn about approaching green-haired psychopaths? People. You wound me. As Orochi-san gave a laugh that smelled of sweat, he handed Mum a bag of assorted candies he must have purchased from the souvenir corner on the first floor of the hospital. Excuse me, Mrs. Mayabara. Would it be possible for me to talk to Keiji-kun for just a few moments? Mum clearly wasn't pleased at the thought of a police officer talking to her son without her here. However, I insisted. Mum, sorry, it's just a little while. Just 5 minutes, okay? Though, grudgingly, Mum left the room. When she closed the door, Orochi-san grinned wildly and looked around the room. A room to yourself? How high class! My old lady always gets a shared room, you know. It's quite lively, however. Seems like you're a high rank if you have a worse disease in a place like this. The sicker you are, the prouder you are, or maybe more arrogant. Orochi-san, we only have 5 minutes. I would like it if these were the last 5 minutes we ever saw each other. Correct. Sir, I was stabbed. Correct. Keiji, I will save her. Orochi-san stopped, bro. I don't have any connection to Hinamizawa anymore, and this isn't Hinamizawa anymore either. With the state of Renner's life and losing everyone they liked, the last remaining person left being a murderer, I doubt the two would survive in the end for long, true. And then Orochi-san rips off his mask, and it was Mion! Oh la la! Mion in a fat suit. Yes, because there aren't any general hospitals in Okinomiya. Mind if I take a seat? Down we go! It was a large university hospital in Chichibon City. It was splendidly urban, entirely different from the likes of Hinamizawa and Okinomiya. It was hard to believe Hinamizawa was a part of the same city. When does it look like you'll get transferred? I don't know. I'm ready to go whenever, though. Our moving plans were delayed a little because of my serious injury. My parents had already left the house in Hinamizawa, though, and were living in our new one. They planned to have me transfer hospitals to be closer to the new house once I'd recovered enough to be taken there. Please don't come to me when I'm transferring. I really will get worse then. Man, you really do hate me. Yes, I do! You use these children as bait! Come on. It may just be my job, but that stings. What do you need, Oshi? That's why I brought you all kinds of lovely souvenirs in atonement. You didn't need to bring an assortment of cookies for that. Well, you see, there aren't actually any cookies in there. Look. Oshi-san pulled open the can of cookies and... What? Ow, ow. I'm stretching my scar. I didn't know what you were into, Mayabata-san, so I bought all sorts of things. See, all sorts of cute-looking ones from Western comic strips. Lately, they have this sort of H-mag ad. Oh my god, he's brought us porn! Oshi, what are you doing? This is a child! Oh my god, Oshi, please. Oshi, no. Lately, the episodes of Page American Anime Girls. Don't bring porn in here! We'll take them away and go home. Oshi-san is sus, to be pleased. He is incredibly fucking sus. Yes, he did. So there's a child who just got stabbed. Cramps, what the hell? Stop, bro! Ow, 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 ow. I thought for sure a healthy young person like you would be feeling a little needy being cooped up in a place like this for so long. Oshi, get your... Fuck off. Gotta get the blood pumping to smooth the recovery. Oh god, no. If you stay here too long, the only fetish you'll end up with is a nurse one, you know. Like that's a bad thing! There are plenty other beautiful things in the world besides nurses. How dare you make me read this with my own lips? God damn it. Don't decide what to major in now. Keep your options open. Bro doesn't have enough blood for this. KGP like, stab, not paw. Oh god. You need to be more all-around type of person. I gave Oshi-san's vulgar laughter a pained grin. Somehow or another understood. The fact that Oshi-san was bringing it up like this meant that he must have something important to talk about. The incident with Shion-san was really unfortunate. The night I was stabbed by Mion, Shion fell from her balcony and died. They said the police were investigating all possibilities, accident, suicide, and homicide, but it could only have been Mion's doing. Mion found out where Shion was hiding and pushed it down to her death. Nothing else was conceivable. It couldn't have been an accident. It was Mion. It had to be. The criminology guys are saying it had to be suicide, but I'm of the same opinion as you, Mayabata-san. She pushed Shion and also stabbed you. In one night. Has Mion still not been found? Oh, that's right. That's what I came here to tell you today. Yes, we actually did find her. What? Ow, ow, ow. Learning that felt rather strange to me. I was partly relieved that the incident was truly over, and I was partly sorry that my best friend had finally been caught. Stop thinking she's your best friend! It's the demon now! It's the demon now! I felt many other things too. My heart was a maze of emotions. That's not all. The Sonozaki House catacombs. We found the hidden well. As you said, Mayabata, we found the remains of all those who disappeared at the bottom. I see. That sliver of hope, that possibility I'd believed in, that Rika-chan and Satoko were alive, just from the fact that remains had been found gone. That was incredibly well hidden in those catacombs. I mean, it was the blind spot of another blind spot. It was a vertical tunnel dug out like a well. There was a ladder set up there, and when we went all the way down, there was another tunnel built there going through it. When we followed it a few hundred meters, we found ourselves at the mouth of an old, unused well in the mountains. I wonder if it was a secret escape route a previous Sonozaki family leader built. Probably was. Maybe it was made in the Meiji era. Still, I'm impressed they built something like that. So everyone's remains were at the bottom? Yes. Even deeper down than the escape path, there was a pool of coal tar. They'd been casually thrown into there. They'd fallen from a fairly high spot, so their remains were totally buried in it. It took a long time and effort to pull their bodies up. Did you find them all? I hoped, at least, that they wouldn't find Rika-chan and Satoko. That's what I wished for when I asked, but I swallowed my hope was crushed in the blink of an eye. Yes, all of them. In fact, we also found human bones we think are over a decade old. We think there are at least 3 people, I suppose, in the dark side of Hinamizawa's history. I wonder how many people's bones we'll find when we've sucked out all the mud. It's a scary thought. That weight had been pushing down on Mion's shoulders the whole time. Mion. We've currently identified people who disappeared from Shishibone City decades ago. People are talking about how this opportunity might let us resolve the disappearing persons cases that have been abandoned. After a deep silence, he breathed a heavy sigh. Oshi-san went for his cigarette to pass the time, but realized he was in a non-smoking area, so he gave up and put them back in his shirt pocket. All right. This is a bit of a detour, but you know Rika Furude-san, right? Of course. She's my friend. Did she ever tell you anything along the lines of her regularly taking insulin injections for diabetes? Huh? Rika-chan had diabetes? I didn't know what he was talking about. Actually, we found it in her skirt pocket. A syringe. It was destroyed, though, so we couldn't identify the medicine. Oh, I know what that was. I remember now. For the record, anyone who doesn't know, there are people in the chat who don't know things about the overall plot of Higurashi, so please do not put spoilers in the chat. It was destroyed, though, so we couldn't identify the medicine. It was a bit out of place, so I got interested. You really don't know anything. I didn't know anything about Rika-chan carrying syringes around with her. The Sonozaki family corroborates. The Yakuza people. Anyway, there's rumors that they deal in psychostimulants. I was thinking that might have something to do with it. Are you trying to tell me that Rika-chan's a drug addict? No, not at all. That isn't what I'm saying. It just seems strange, however you look at it, that she would bring a syringe with her on her way to get soy sauce. I have no idea what any of this means. My eyes are spinning. I feel sick. Rika doing cocaine sounds very funny. Oh, here's another reason to ostracize Hinamizawa. Yes. How'd they get oxygen into that tunnel? I'm more curious about that. Science! I don't know. Buddy, you have a permanent scar from your friend. Give it up already. You really should. Rika's so close to saving them all. Honestly. Are you alright? Should I call a nurse? I'm fine. Please continue. Well, that's all I had to say about the syringe. It was the only thing that personally struck me as interesting. Rika-chan. Rika-chan was sort of like the village mascot, after all. It looks like the village is in an uproar right now. Between the older blind believers and the Sonozaki family who killed her. The 3 families' effective control for the village is basically in shambles too. If someone came up to them with talk of a dam again. With this sort of timing, the entire village would abandon this time for sure. I'm not related to anyone in Hinamizu anymore. I actually was. I just said it because the thought about Hinamizu being abandoned was unpleasant, and I wanted to end the conversation quickly. There was a knock at the door. It opened. Slightly, my mum asked if we were still talking. Whoops! We went off topic, didn't we? What a pickle! I looked at the clock. 5 minutes were long past. He told my mother that there was something he really wanted to ask, and if she could wait a little bit longer. Is that so? Keep it short, okay? There wasn't any getting around the fact that she was thinking about what a police officer could be talking to her son about. Maybe we should choose another day for this. Oishi-san? Mion, how is she right now? I wanted to hear that answer and then get rid of him. Before I tell you that, I need one thing from you. I just need you to answer something in all honesty. What is it? I want you to take your answer seriously, got it? If you say something indiscreet, it could be viewed as obstruction of the investigation, and you could be prosecuted. Oishi-san kept threatening me until the end. What the hell did he want? Mayabara-san, who do you think the criminal who pushed Shion... Who do you think the criminal who... Who do you think the criminal was who pushed Shion from the balcony? There was no way it could be anyone but Mion, is there? Then who was the one who stabbed you? Please don't make me say it again. It was Mion. Mion Sonozaki. Oishi-san smiled bitterly, then dabbed his forehead with a handkerchief to wipe his sweat. He should have expected that answer, and yet it looked like he wasn't satisfied with it. She pushed Shion and stabbed me. Didn't you just admit yourself that Mion was the criminal? The evidence we have that Mion killed Shion is based on testimony from the man living next door. The neighbor is actually a member of an organized crime group. In other words, he was Shion-san's bodyguard. Oh. It seems that he's a veteran leader in that vein, and was like a parent to the Sonozaki sisters growing up. That man said this. The noise he heard from next door was just like the sound of a fight between sisters that he was used to hearing when they still lived together. And no, there was no doubt about it. He said he heard Mion and Shion insulting each other, then heard them struggling. At first, though, he thought it was a hallucination she was having, brought on by her dementia. Dementia. Her insanity. I really don't think they meant to use that word, because that's completely different to what Shion was experiencing. You see, he thought that because that sort of ruckus had been occurring every night. However, that night had been longer than the rest. He claimed he went to her room to give her a sedative. The noise died down while he got the manager to give him the key. He'd already decided he'd at least check up on her, and after she wasn't answering his calls, he then took the plunge and unlocked the door. Then he saw the room was a mess. Since Shion had been pushed over the balcony, they decided it have to be Mion. And that's how it happened. In other words, he only heard from the other side of the wall. Plus, because the apartment complex is connected to their organization, it doesn't have many residents. So they were the only ones to hear it happening. To reiterate, there was only one person who witnessed Mion Sonozaki. Even if he didn't hear her, isn't it obviously Mion's doing? Now settle down. This is what I'm trying to say. It means you were the only one who saw Mion Sonozaki for sure last night. After all, Shion-san, the other witness, is no longer alive. What are you trying to say? I don't really understand. At that point, Oshi-san paused. The fact that this was no smoking area completely slipped his mind, and he took out a pack of cigarettes again. Ka-ching! He lit one with his lighter, and exhaled a long stream of tobacco smoke. Were you really stabbed by Mion Sonozaki? Yes! There was no doubt about it. The smoke Oshi-san breathed out floated away, like a thundercloud swept away by the wind. Oshi-san, you can't smoke in here. The nurses will get mad. Actually, we found Mion Sonozaki at the bottom of the well, too. The what? What? She fell to her death. We believe that, as she was trying to escape that hidden passage in the wall, her foot slipped while she was climbing down the ladder. She fell to the bottom, broke her neck, and died. Yes. The same way as Shion-san. Keiji, it means you're the only one left who saw me that night. Remaining time to die. She broke her neck. Well, what? Shion being saved was so sus. After you passed out that day, Mion Sonozaki tried to escape using the hidden well, but her foot slipped and she died. As if beckoned by the corpses of the other sacrifices, she dropped down there. But that doesn't make any sense, does it? The autopsy came back to the conclusion that she definitely died on that day. She didn't go back there after attacking you and Shion-san. She was already dead by then. My jaw was on the floor. There was absolutely no way that could be. Mion was the one that stabbed me. It had been her. There wouldn't have been anyone else to do it. Then, who attacked Shion and me? Who was it? The one who attacked you was someone who was Mion Sonozaki and yet not Mion Sonozaki. My mind had become a complete mess, and I was starting to lose my ability to think straight. So it was Shion, yeah. Do you remember how Mion Takano-san died? Eh? Takano-san? Ah, yeah. I think I heard she was burned to death in some distant mountains. We learned that she was burned after being strangled to death. The Gyufu who did the autopsy. It's a little bit strange. The results of the preliminary autopsy said that she had been dead for at least 24 hours. Since that was contrary in their panic, they seemed to have revised it to say she died earlier that day. Despite me being an absolute wreck over what was going on with Mion, he was telling me there was even more on top of that. I didn't understand the complex things Oshi-san was telling me. The result, saying she had been dead for 24 hours, was, our own old criminologist says, is pretty damn reliable. So then what would that mean? I've asked that question over and over, but on the night of Wataganashi, you were with Mion Takano, weren't you? I was. You also met with her on the day before, while setting up the festival, right? I mean, I ran into her too. Yes. I was with her then. If she'd been dead for 24 hours, then that would mean she was already dead the day before the festival. How does that work? That can't be. She was alive during festival preparations. However, when you all slipped into the ritual storehouse, Takano-san was already dead. the origin of all that happened. The beginning of everything. Our intrusion in the ritual storehouse, which I had come to regret countless times. The one who tempted me, Takano-san. When she invited us into the storehouse, she was already no longer part of this world. Yeah, I see this and especially when this is anime and we couldn't like pause to kind of try digest it. I didn't quite understand this ending. I'm hoping it explains it now. There's too many dead people walking around in this incident. An incident caused by a dead person and ended by a dead person. Also, apparently, they're under pressure to revise the time of Mion Sonozaki's death, not to the day of the incident, but to right after she stabbed you. Probably pressure from the outside to get this incident wrapped up already. So I'd appreciate it if you didn't say a word about this to anyone. Oshi-san grabbed his jacket that was hanging on the chair, put out his cigarette with the bottom of his foot, and started pretending to wave away the smoke floating around. I've stayed too long. I had to come here thinking I could at least end this incident as it applied to you, but it looks like it got even more baffling instead. Absent-mindedly, he walked to the door, looking at me, unable to speak out of the corner of his eye. If it so happens that something comes up you want to talk about in the future, call me any time. My business card is in those souvenirs from me before. Fucking take those away, bitch! When that time comes, I'll pay you a visit with some wonderful souvenirs again. Fuck off. Oshi-san seemed to think I was hiding something. That I, after all this, would be hiding something. I'm the one thing are being hidden from. I'm the one who wants to know. Let us meet again one day. Take care of yourself. Oshi-san, please. Slam. I listened to the tap-tap of Oshi-san walking down the hallway. I still couldn't return from my state of bewilderment. He wanted to end this incident as it applied to me. What was over? Nothing was over. The incident was still continuing. Then slip, an arm covered in fresh blood came out from under the bed. I wasn't that surprised. This was an illusion I was seeing, seized with fear. Kei-chan, I told you to remember. I heard a guttural voice coming from under the bed. I still recognized it as Mion's voice. What, Mion? What did you tell me? I warned you on that day. After today, if you see me, it will be the demon that has possessed my body. You did say that, didn't you? Sorry. I guess I wasn't careful enough. That's why I got stabbed. Possibly wounds sustained when she fell from the ladder. Many of her fingernails were broken and torn. Her arms slowly felt about on top of the bed, searching for mine. Oh hey, Mion. I just, thought of a good joke. Want to hear it? The Mion under the bed didn't answer. Let's say that I died here today. But tomorrow, I'd still be here, living a normal life. So, when Oshi-san learned about it afterwards, the time of death wouldn't make sense once again. He'd make a huge deal about how someone who should have died was alive, and he'd totally lose his head. Takano-san, then Mion, and then me third. So, funny, right? Makes you laugh, doesn't it? Kei-chan. Laugh! Or was it not that funny? Mion's blood-stained hand groped around and found my wrists. Though her fingernails were torn, she gripped it hard, as if scratching me. Ow, ow, go easy! Ow, it hurts! Kei-chan, I've come for you. I tried to shake my wrist loose, but the strength she had in it was unbelievable. I couldn't. She was only gripping one wrist, yet my whole body wouldn't move. I couldn't even twitch. My fingers were spread apart, and I couldn't make a fist either. And that fact I couldn't make a fist reminded me of the restraining table. I felt a crooked nail press against my left pinky fingertip. Mion's forehead was split open, and a face covered with blood. She smiled and got right up behind me. Yeah, they definitely should have hired a therapist at this point. Nothing was over. Nothing was over. This incident was far from being over. It was still going on. It was still happening. Someone please end this incident. This cruel, tragic, unfortunate, sad incident. Please end it. That is my only wish. I granted you one before, remember? You don't get any more. Mion firmly held the nail down on my fingertip, and with her other hand she slowly swung the mallet up into the air and... And that was it! Ghost Mion. Keiji went crazy, which honestly, you know, that makes sense. Fair dues. A new scenario has been unlocked. All cast review session has become available. Play it to select extra in the title menu. The last nail complete Wataganashi. I got that achievement. That's how it ends. Yes, it is, Lucius. That is how it ends, apparently. Good lord. And then a nuclear bomb went off. That was almost on number. Almost exactly on 3 hours. Perfect timing. Yeah, so I don't know how the Takano-san thing happened. Takano-san pre-planned the break-in with a body double prepared and was who knows where hiding the entire time. Well, she was dead the entire time, apparently. Don't know about the Takano-san bit. Honestly, So it could be that Shion... But Shion died first, didn't she? So we don't know how Mion was walking around either. This is why it's crazy. Unless it wasn't Mion that Keiji saw, it's just a case that he was already going crazy by that point after everything that happened. And maybe Keiji stabbed himself. She is not dead. You have a good Insane Psycho laugh, by the way. Thank you! I've worked on it. I used to do it to creep up my friends at Halloween. I forgot to introduce. Nice to meet you first time in this stream. And you come at the finale of Higurashi. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. We've got some unpacking to do. But yeah, this is why it confused me. So you think Mion didn't actually die? But there were two Mion bodies and there's only 2 Mions. So unless there is a third Mion Shion sister, I don't understand how it's supposed to work. I might look it up. Can I find a Wataganashi ending explained? Higurashi, Wataganashi, ending, explain. What? There's a Reddit thing here. What if Reddit... Remember the solution to this chapter. It's simpler than you might think. Mion bodied him, maybe. Mion chucked Shion body down the well, then pretended to be Shion. That is probably it. That's probably it, Howdy. I remember, I think the anime, the key was the demon tattoo that Mion has. Because that's the only thing that really truly differentiates them, is that tattoo. But I thought Oshi-san was going to mention that. Mention that, like, the body they found had the demon tattoo. Or that the one that fell off the balcony had the demon tattoo. But that never came up, so maybe that's something that is confirmed in other chapters. Went to stab Keiji, then the demon got strong. Stabbed Keiji, then jumped off the balcony, maybe. Once again, gonna have to be VOD on this one, but I hope you and Chad are having a lovely stream today. We are having a lovely stream today. No one, like, there's been very little violence against chibis today. I have a theory, but unsure, but basically everything that happens in the clinic, I think, was a delusion. Pretty much everything, yeah. Definitely the Mion, 100% delusion. It is just the family, no? Mappy. What a stream that's been. There's plenty of violence against everything else. Like, yeah, it has been kind of horrible. This has been pretty outright gory compared to a lot of the other ones. Also, maybe some of the anime-only scenes. Like, I expected the nail scene in this, but we didn't get it. But I guess Keiji wasn't there for the nail scene, so, again, maybe that might be anime-only. Maybe that's manga-inspired. Maybe that's more... Maybe that's more of a... just not visual novel bit. That's later? Oh, okay. Keiji clearly died in the torture basement, and it's just the last flashes of his insane life crumbling. Maybe. I think that's Answer's arc, yeah. Oh, okay. So we have to wait for some of the answers. I don't know if I'm going to go on to the next chapter of Higurashi right away. One, I don't own it right now, so that's a problem. I had to get it. Two, it's probably the slowest chapter of Higurashi, if I remember correctly, because... if only because I'm looking at it and it's got the picture of Satoko, and Satoko's focused part is... not great. It's just... it's not... I don't know. From what I remember of it... it's bad, but, like, not like this bad. It's not a psychological horror, it's just depressing. From what I remember of it. So, we'll give it a bit of a break. Also, to be fair, Keiji needs to so much more bullying. He does. He deserved it. I had a meat shield and his name was Keiji. Also, my throat is going right now because all those psycho laughs. So I need to stop. I need to stop streaming. Like I said, we'll be doing a break again before we go into the next Higurashi game. Maybe a bit of a, maybe not as big of a break as between 1 and 2. Maybe a shorter one. I don't know. We'll find out. It's so depressing. Yeah, it's just depressing. I don't even really want to read it in general. But we'll see how we go. For now, I thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone in chat. Thank you everyone who lurked. Thank you to anyone who watches the VOD. I really appreciate you supporting and watching, no matter which way you can. If you have not already, I would highly appreciate it if you are on YouTube. If you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Sotoko, like Rika, she became Yandere when she stopped talking to her. Because we're nearly at 5k, guys. Do you know how many we've got left till 5k now? We have 35 subscribers left until 5k. And at 5k, I will do a 3D model and do some karaoke and a subathon. Yay! And if you have not already followed on Twitch, I'd highly appreciate it if you could follow on Twitch as well. That'd be fun. Yeah, thank you. If you're not saving for the subathon and would like to make sure that your favourite VTuber doesn't have to work as much, that would be lovely. You can do this in many, many ways. With the YouTube memberships, where you get emotes, exclusive streams, Discord channel merch discounts. You can join the Patreon, where you get short stories, exclusive streams, merch discounts, and free books. You can get the Kofi. I say get the Kofi, there isn't a Kofi, but you can throw money at the Kofi. And there is also small audiobook short stories in the Kofi shop. And then there's the merch store, where there's ebooks, first edition copies of my books, bookmarks, keyrings, t-shirts, a notebook, a pillow, and stickers. So please go check out all those lovely links in the description. Yay, Higurashi break. We bully Chibi more. I don't know what the Chibi's going to be back for. This was the Chibi's game. Now I'm going to have to think of a new game for the Chibi. Until then, though, I will see you on Sunday. I'll be back on Sunday, where we will read more Pride and Prejudice. Until then, I had fun. I hope you had fun. This has been Brandy Rose Smith, live from the Forbidden Library. Goodbye.